Hello. Good afternoon. FM Madam will be arriving in another 10 minutes. You all are requested to settle down and please put your mobile phones on silent mode. Good afternoon, and a very warm welcome to all the esteemed guests and officials present in this auspicious gathering. Suswagatam, Swagatsha, Tashidele. Ayam Nijo Paroveti, Ganana Laguchetasam, Udara Charitanam tu Vasudeva Kutumbakam. This is mine, that is his, say the small-minded. The wise believe that the entire world is a family. Taking a cue from this very relevant Sanskrit shlok, as well as the very befitting theme of India's G20 presidency, I greet the respected dignitaries and officials from India and our neighboring countries, Nepal and Bhutan, in this inaugural ceremony of Indian Customs EDI system, that is ICES at Nagarkata LCS and Kulkuli LCS. Michael Jackson, in a very famous song, had said, "Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. And to plant trees is to give body and life to one's dreams of a better world." On this note, I request Shri Anil Kumar Gupta, Chief Commissioner of Kolkata Customs Zone, to welcome the very revered chief guest of today's event, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, Honorable Union Minister of Finance and Corporate Affairs, Government of India, with a plant sapling and a memento. Please give them a round of applause. Thank you, Madam. I once again request Chief Commissioner Sir to welcome Shri Vivek Johari, Chairman, Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, with a plant sapling. I would again request Chief Commissioner Sir to welcome Sri Sanjay Kumar Agarwal, Member, Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs. Thank you, sir. The stakeholders associated with CBIC are also present by the esteemed dignitaries. Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir. Now, I request Shri Sanjay Kumar Agarwal, Member, Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, to deliver the welcome address. Sir, please.
Honorable Union Minister of Finance and Corporate Affairs, Shrimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, Chairman CBIC, Shri Vivek Johari, Chief Commissioner Customs Kolkata, Shri Anil Gupta, Commissioner Customs Kolkata, Shri Ranjan Khanna, distinguished guests from Nepal and Bhutan, distinguished invitees from other organizations, officers of Customs and GST Department, members of the trade, media persons, ladies and gentlemen. My greetings to everyone on this momentous occasion. At the outset, I would like to express my profound gratitude to the Honorable FM for sparing her valuable time to grace this occasion. It gives me great pleasure and pride that I welcome the Honorable Finance Minister and all the distinguished dignitaries at the launch of Indian Customs EDI system at the Land Customs Station at Nagarkata in Jalpaiguri district and Kulkuli in Alipurduar district of Indo-Bhutan border. Madam, these two LCS are among 6 operational LCS on India-Bhutan border in the state of West Bengal. These LCS were first notified in the year 2013 only for import of ginger, orange and cardamom, that too during the period of August to March. Now, in direction of facilitating trade with our neighboring countries from December 22, export and import throughout the year without any commodity restrictions is allowed through these two LCS. This opens up great potentiality for cross-border trade between two friendly neighboring countries, and this one more step towards enhancing our trade and economic relations with Bhutan. These customs stations are strategically located and will serve as a vital hub for the movement of goods across the border. This will also provide a significant boost to local economy by creating employment opportunities and generating revenue. I am also happy to say that not only the scope of extent of trade through these LCS have been enlarged, but to ensure realization of full potential, it was decided to introduce customs EDI system at these two locations. With introduction of EDI, the risk management system of the customs would also become operational at these locations to strike an optimal balance between trade facilitation and enforcement. It would not be out of place to mention that Indian Customs is committed to the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister under the dynamic leadership of Honorable Finance Minister for reduction in logistics cost and taken several steps to provide faster clearances of import and export cargo in secured manner. For this, Customs is relying upon risk-based approach by extensive data analytics using the latest artificial intelligence and machine learning tools to achieve our commitments for trade facilitation without intervention to large extent under trade facilitation agreement under the aegis of WTO. As a result of multiple initiatives taken by Indian Customs in World Bank rankings in ease of doing business and trading across borders, India's ranking has improved significantly in recent years. To achieve the vision of Honorable Prime Minister for Digital India, several measures have been taken under the able guidance of Honorable Finance Minister in the Ministry of Finance, and in that direction, Indian Customs have digitized all the major functions and taking continuous steps to digitize any remaining functions. This digitization has brought a lot of transparency and uniformity in customs operations. Today, we have gathered at this place on Indo Nepal border, which again is very strategically located, as it is at a very short distance of 35 kilometers from LCS at Fulbari on Indo-Bangladesh border and 150 kilometers from LCS at Jaigaon on Indo-Bhutan border. It is not only significant LCS for trade between India and Nepal, but also important as a transit point for trade between Nepal and Bhutan, Nepal and Bangladesh, as well as Nepal and other countries. During the course of day, we would request the Honorable Finance Minister to spare some time for us to demonstrate the procedure followed by us to allow transit through India in a secure manner. I would be failing in my duty if I do not reveal that our chairman keep a close tab on us to ensure that deliverables are achieved within the given time frame and efficiency bar is raised from time to time to take best of us. With these words, I thank the Honorable Finance Minister and the distinguished dignitaries for gracing the occasion. I also thank members of trade and local chambers of trade and commerce for enthusiastically participating in the function, which shows their commitment for the growth in their area. I also thank all the local officers of CBIC and especially the Directorate General of Systems of CBIC for their tireless efforts to make the EDI operational at these two LCS, which is going to be launched by the Honorable Finance Minister shortly. I would also like to extend a warm welcome again to all the stakeholders, businessmen, and entrepreneurs who will be utilizing this facility. We assure you all our full support and commitment towards providing a seamless experience for all you.
The land border of about 15,000 kilometers with our neighboring countries. We are dotted, this border is dotted by about 120 land customs stations, and of which about 45 are seasonal, or they handle only passenger movement, or they're there only for organizing border hearts, which deal with local trade, ma'am, in the area. So in effect, there are 75 LCSs that handle regular trade with our neighbors. Of these, 60 are already on EDI, which is the Electronic Data Interchange System of Customs, which means that all the documents that traders, the importers and exporters need to file, they can be filed on the customs system, and the processing of those documents by customs also happens on the system. There are another 15 that need to be on EDI, and I assure you, ma'am, that the systems team is working very actively to also bring them on board. Of course, there are some local challenges with regard to connectivity, the bandwidth that is available, but we are trying our best to overcome those. Today, ma'am, we are going to request you, and I think we are very honored that you're going to be launching EDI at two of the locations which Sanjay just mentioned, which is Nagarkata and Kulkuli. These are on the Indo-Bhutan border, but they're important for not just trade between India and Bhutan, but also for movement of goods within Bhutan, ma'am. So that also happens through these checkposts. Basically, our effort and policy direction with regard to LCSs is that we should augment the infrastructure at all these locations, and we have a very detailed plan of how we want to go about it. It is not just the physical infrastructure that we want to augment, but we also want to invest in technology so that our officers are completely professional in the way they carry out their work. And you'll see an example of that, ma'am, later in the afternoon when we give you a demonstration of how our officers deal with cargo that is moving in transit from Kolkata to Nepal. These are third country imports going into Nepal. And to augment this infrastructure, you would be aware, ma'am, we are working very actively with the Land Port Authority of India also. So far, we have converted 9 LCSs into integrated checkposts, which have a complete physical infrastructure for all border management agencies in one place. Another 12 are in the process of being converted, and we hope to take this forward so that we have more and more ICPs, or integrated checkposts at the border, where all government agencies that are involved in clearance of cargo or of passengers or in handling transit cargo, they're able to work more efficiently and cohabit and use all the facilities together. Even though, ma'am, these LCSs may appear to be small in terms of the scale that they handle, they're really very, very significant, I feel, from more than one point of view. If you were to look at the data on trade itself, then they handle about 1 lakh crore worth of trade, with our neighboring countries. But that is not all. I think the more important role they play is in handling the movement of passengers. And this people-to-people connect that these officers are able to provide, because there is very brisk movement of passengers from both sides who visit each other, our countries for different reasons. Some could be medical, some could be just tourism, some could be on business. But as you will see shortly, ma'am, when we go to the location, there is very active movement of passengers on the border. Of course, the challenge that we face, because our borders are open, and there are officers from SSB here who work very collaboratively with us on this, is the smuggling aspect. And we are working very closely to deal with that. And we have been making cases both of gold, of some of narcotics, and some also of other items which are in local demand on either side of the border. But I must assure you, ma'am, that the remoteness of these locations may only be physical, but otherwise they're completely integrated with the mainstream. As I told you, ma'am, they're on EDI, they're working on the custom system, and the officers here are working with all the dedication and enthusiasm that you would expect of officers anywhere in the rest of the country. And I'm very sure it's really a red letter day for them to host you and to have you amidst them, because it really boosts their morale to perform their duties much more efficiently. What I would emphasize to them is not to worry about their remoteness, or let that not dampen your enthusiasm. I think you should celebrate the fact that you're very unique. And as I mentioned, ma'am, they are not just handling normal import and export cargo. They play a very important role in transit cargo. And that is something unique to these locations, which you don't find anywhere else in the country. So whether it is movement of goods from Nepal to Bhutan, from Nepal to Bangladesh, from Bangladesh to Nepal and Bhutan, as well as third country imports or exports going into or coming out of these countries. I think they handle all this together at all these locations. So to that extent, they're very unique. Now, what is our vision with regard to land custom stations, and what is it that we want to do in the future? So one of the things which is very obvious is that we want to ramp up the physical infrastructure, whether it is official accommodation, it's residential accommodation for officers, and we have, as I said, a very clear-cut plan on how we want to go about it. There are many proposals that are on the anvil. There are many proposals that have already been approved, and we'll be implementing them as quickly as we can. What goes with that is the digitization of work, and like member just mentioned, once you're on EDI, you're able to perform all your functions in an electronic environment, and you are completely connected with what is going on in customs. You're aware of the latest changes in law, and you're able to implement them in a timely manner. But I think for the future, ma'am, what we have to think of, and this is a good international practice, we have just about started discussion on this, is to have joint or common facilities with our neighboring countries for clearance of cargo across land borders. There are many examples of this, ma'am, in the CIS states, as well as in Africa, where countries that have land borders invest in common facilities which both sides, customs from both the countries can use together. It facilitates the trade much more, and what it enables is that the examination of cargo, for example, can be done jointly by both the countries together. In some countries, they've gone to the extent of having common documentation. So the trade does not need to file one document here when they're exporting and another document on the other side where they're importing. I think this is a very potent idea which has a lot of promise for the future in terms of improving our efficiency and contributing further to ease of doing business when it comes to land border trade. So I think that is the direction in which we are thinking, ma'am. This is, of course, at a very conceptual stage, but I assure you that we'll take this idea forward. And finally, I do want to say, ma'am, that your presence just endorses the fact of how much significance the government attaches to these outlying formations and posts. And your presence here today would really be a very, very big morale booster for all our officers and other stakeholders who work shoulder to shoulder with us. So I really, from the bottom of my heart, I do want to express my deepest gratitude to you, ma'am, because I know how busy your schedule is, and for you to be able to find time to be here with us today is indeed an honor and a privilege for all of us. So with those words, thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your visionary thoughts. The Kolkata Customs Zone is unique as in addition to sea and air mode, it also deals with exempt cargo through all other possible modes of transport, riverine, road, and rail. To have a greater insight into the functioning, we present before you a documentary on it. So, ladies and gentlemen, presenting before you documentary on Kolkata Customs Preventive Commissionerate.
The Preventive Commissionerate West Bengal has jurisdiction over the whole of West Bengal and Sikkim. It is in charge of border control at several land customs stations and preventive units along Bangladesh, Nepal's, Bhutan's and China's international borders. There are 23 land customs stations along the international border to cater exempt trade. There are 55 preventive units to check illegal trade and smuggling. It also has control over 260 nautical.
Sincere apologies for the technical glitch.
The Preventive Commissionerate West Bengal has jurisdiction over the whole of West Bengal and Sikkim. It is in charge of border control at several land customs stations and preventive units along Bangladesh, Nepal's, Bhutan's and China's international borders. There are 23 land customs stations along the international border to cater exempt trade. There are 55 preventive units to check illegal trade and smuggling. It also has control over 260 nautical miles of riverine waterways used for cross-border trade with Bangladesh. Bangladesh is closely linked to India through its shared culture, passion for music, literature, arts, and also Rabindranath Tagore, who created the national anthems of both India and Bangladesh. The geographical proximity of India to Bangladesh has made it one of its major trading partners. There are 14 land customs stations which facilitate trade between India and Bangladesh. ICP Petrapol, Changrabandha, Fulbari and Gojdanga are some major land customs stations among them. Integrated Checkpost Petrapol, Asia's major trading partner, situated at road connected between Petrapol in India and Benapol in Bangladesh, approximately 80 kilometers from Kolkata city. Petrapol, India, Benapol, Bangladesh is a major land port for India and Bangladesh in terms of commerce and passenger traffic. ICP Petrapol handles over 53% of land-based traffic between India and Bangladesh. Major imported commodities from Bangladesh are ready-made garments, cotton rags, briefcase, bags, jute yarn, and major commodities those are exported from India to Bangladesh are cotton fabric, chases, raw cotton, steel and iron, etc.
मेरा यह मानना है कि आर्थिक विकास तथा कनेक्टिविटी एक दूसरे से जुड़े हुए हैं। पेट्रापोल, बेनापोल का अधिक से अधिक प्रयोग न केवल हमारी अर्थव्यवस्थाओं को घनिष्ठ रूप से जोड़ेगा, बल्कि हमारे पीपल टू पीपल टाइज को भी और सुदृढ़ बनाएगा। मेरा यह विश्वास है कि यह हमारे साझे विकास तथा समृद्धि का प्रमुख मार्ग बनेगा।
LCS Changraba.
Thank you. Due to time constraint, we are moving forward to the next part of the program. The Indian Customs EDI system, ICS, is designed to exchange and transact customs clearance related information electronically using electronic data interchange, that is the EDI. Automation in Customs Department has proved to be a hassle-free, faster and faceless flow of trade between the countries. And in this phase of Amrit Kal, the inauguration of ICS would add new dimension to foreign trade of India with the neighboring countries. And so now, I have the honor to request the very revered and learned Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, Honorable Union Minister of Finance and Corporate Affairs, to inaugurate the facility with her august presence. Madam, please. Thank you.
Team Nagarkata. Mr. Bhutia, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Please identify your team members.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I am Vijay, District Commissioner in charge of Indiana Customs Division. Vijay is in charge of this land custom, Nagarkata land customification. I have with me my student Ashish Shah and Inspector Kulkuli. We also have the presence of our counterpart, Bhutan custom, PT custom, which is around 300 meters from here. The Deputy Commander, Deputy Commissioner Panitanki, Assistant Commissioner Hon'ble, and Inspector
How many trucks for export and import are there today at Nagarkata for the first time export and import?
Sir, we have around 6 export consignments today and 2 import consignments from Bhutan.
Team at Kulkuli, please identify your team members. We can't see you. The camera has to be proper.
Yes.
Bhutanese friends are not visible at Nagarkata and Kulkuli both. Please bring them together in the camera. Hon'ble FM wants to see them. Kulkuli, our Bhutanese friend, yes. Please come together. Please come together. We have seen the plaque. Please come together. Yes, thank you. Team Kulkuli, please identify yourself.
Yes, I'm Superintendent of Customs, Kulkuli LCS, and Inspector Sanjay Yadav, and from our Customs JC.
Please come together.
SSB Commandant is also there.
How many trucks have come for export and import today, Mr. Lakra?
One for exports and one for imports.
Which commodity?
Export is bricks, red bricks, and import crushed stones.
You want? Hon'ble FM can interact with officers. Okay. Please show. Yeah. Please show us the ICS, both sides, Kulkuli and Nagarkata. Show us around the ICS, your LCS.
This is our officer working in the EDI interface, ICS interface, and he will now be giving a lead export order for the export to Bhutan. the consigners are ready and the shipping bills are all ready, and now he's giving the latex export order from his AIO. So now we are going to show you the movement of the vehicle where the latex export order has already been given. This is the vehicle which is ready for movement to Bhutan. It consists of several grocery items, which is rice, tea, and which is required for the daily use by which people have. So this consignment is ready for export now. We will leave for Bhutan. And Bhutan is just around 200 meters from here. In fact, if I can ask my cameraman to pan and show the Bhutan white building over there is the Bhutan customs.
Okay, Mr. Bhutia. Thank you very much to you and your team.
Right, sir.
Congratulations to Team Kulkuli and Nagarkata LCS. I take this moment to request Honorable Finance Minister Madam to share her thoughts and vision in this occasion. Madam, please.
Namaskar, Tashe Delek. I'm indeed very pleased to be here today to watch how the electronic data interchange is going to make data sharing far more speedier, real time, and also to make it far more facilitative of trade. So I'm very pleased to be here, and I'm indeed happy to welcome our partners from Bhutan and from Nepal who have themselves come here to participate in this program of dedicating 2 of our land custom stations to become electronically operative with real-time data sharing. And I appreciate the futuristic plan that CBIC's chairman, Vivek Johri, has spoken about. It makes absolute sense to think of having one point through which trade can pass, wherein both countries can sit and satisfy themselves about what is going through, and also to enable the paperwork at one point rather than both the points as they cross in from one and enter into the other. So these kind of thoughts are well worth, particularly at a time when ease of doing business has got to be truly translated, not just looking at ranks. So I think I quite appreciate if you started at the conceptual stage, but it should translate at the earliest to real-time work. This is, of course, a unique land customs station. Uniqueness has been very beautifully explained. You're not even looking at just country-to-country transit, but also the movement is going further to a third country. So truly a land customs station with the feature of not facilitating trade between A country to B country, but also through A country and B country going to a third country is something which is a little more complex, but a little more critical as well. And I've always been very keen to know how you would have managed at this stage to detect any things which are coming illegally. Because at this time, I also see the partners, Seema Suraksha Bal, who are here to help in the process of legitimate trade, fair trade happening. It suits and it will benefit all our countries, Nepal, Bhutan and India, and eventually even Bangladesh, if it is going to Bangladesh or even further through Bangladesh to some other country, to have absolute fair trade, free trade, but also be sure that we are not looking the other way when goods which are illegally being brought in are not being stopped. If we are not adequately fitted enough, or we don't have the wherewithal to stop it, that will be a failure on all our sides. So in order that our economies, Bhutan for theirs, Nepal for theirs, India for ourselves, and also for Bangladesh, it will be in the fitness of things that if all of us are working together to make sure that, I think I was just talking to Vivek Johri. I understand it is only a very small negative list which is between us. As it is, India has a very favorable policy for neighborhood trade. The SAFTA agreement, or the way in which our bordering immediate neighborhood countries are treated, where it is duty-free, it is tariff-free. So, in the sense, it is more referred to by the 4 letters, DFQF, duty-free, quota-free. So, if it is duty-free and quota-free, and if there is only a negative, small list of negative items, it will also be encouraging for traders from both the sides. If the facilitation at the point, the customs station, is simpler, conscious that it has to entertain rather than dissuade trade between these countries. So duty-free, quota-free trade when it happens, and especially when it happens with a small negative list, the scope for improving trade between our neighborhood countries is essentially going to help in improving and bucking up our economies. So true to the way in which the SAFTA agreement has played out, it will help if we, in our respective countries, are able to encourage trade, legitimate trade, and not look the other way when illegitimate goods keep moving between the countries. So I would draw on the expertise and also the alertness of the Seema Suraksha Bal, and also the customs officials of all the countries in our neighborhood to be alert to facilitating legitimate trade, but being alert to those which come in illegitimately into each of our territories. We should not lose revenue because of our inefficiencies. So I would think the policy is clear. We have to encourage each other. At the same time, we have to discourage that which is going to hit our economies because of bad implementation of good policies. And this effort to bring it all into electronic interface is a very good step forward. It will actually bring in efficiencies. It will also make transparency a chief goal between countries where trade is happening. And landlocked countries particularly need a special attention because they may have wonderful lot of products to export, but if the facilitation at the exchanges, custom exchanges, are inefficient or painful, they will be the ones to suffer. And India should not be a country which is, because of its inefficiencies, is hampering the efficiencies of smaller landlocked countries. I would strongly call upon India's customs, the CBIC, to give special attention to countries like Bhutan and Nepal, which are landlocked, but we should be the catalyst, the efficient catalyst for their trade and trade prospects. So with those words, I'm glad to be partnering in this program today. I understand that the land custom stations all in Bengal, bordering with Nepal and Bhutan, are now in Bengal completely under EDI. There may be 1 or 2 outside of Bengal, also bordering with Bhutan, for instance, Assam. So, and any other border exchanges that Nepal has with, say, Uttar Pradesh or anywhere else, are yet to be included into the electronic interface data interchange. And I appeal to the CBIC to speed up that process so that, as I said, the principle should be India should be seen being efficient with countries which are landlocked. So whether it is with Uttar Pradesh or with Assam, Bhutan and Nepal should now benefit from the electronic data interchange. So the sooner we complete that work, it will be better for all our economies. So thank you very much once again for having me here today. Thanks for the dignitaries who come from Bhutan and Nepal. I understand, as things stand, all of you are working together. The Indian customs, the CBIC, Bhutanese, and also Nepalese are in a cooperative mood, and you work together very well. And I think the Seema Suraksha Bal is also being absolutely professional in their job. All this will only entertain much more trade and movement of people between all our countries. So thank you very much once again. Namaskar.
Thank you, madam, for your words of wisdom. I'm sure we all are inspired to put in our best efforts to help India and her neighboring countries to reach the pinnacle of glory in economy and trade. Now, I request Shri Anil Kumar Gupta, Chief Commissioner of Kolkata Customs Zone, to propose the vote of thanks. So please.
Honorable Union Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, esteemed Chairman CBIC Shri Vivek Johri, Member CBIC Shri Sanjay Kumar Agarwal ji, it is my indeed pleasure and privilege to propose a vote of thanks on behalf of Calcutta Customs Zone on this auspicious occasion. First and foremost, I am extending my heartfelt gratitude to Honorable Finance Minister for sparing time from her busy schedule to be here at Panitanki LCS for the inauguration of Indian Customs EDI system at two land customs, Nagarkata and Kulkuli, bordering Indo-Bhutan. The establishment of these land ports, as Madam you have mentioned, is a significant step towards strengthening our India's bilateral relation with Royal Government of Bhutan. The increased trade with Bhutan through these two land custom ports would surely benefit the surrounding areas and help in the inclusive growth of the entire region. Ma'am, your words of wisdom, especially with respect to checking illicit trade, are taken very seriously, and all our staff is totally dedicated to ensure that besides trade facilitation and revenue collection, that we also check the illicit trade. We assure you that we will continue to work towards creating a transparent and predictable customs regime that will support the growth of Indian economy and strengthen our position in the world. I also extend my sincere thanks to our esteemed Chairman, Sir, Shri Vivek Johri, for his dynamic leadership and valuable guidance to make this event a grand success. Our special thanks to Shri Sanjay Kumar Agarwal, Member CBIC, for his continued support and guidance in this function. We are grateful to the entire team of Seema Suraksha Bal, led by DIG MS Panda, for making available these premises, for organizing this function and all their support. We are grateful to all the esteemed guests from the Consulate General of Nepal as well as Royal Government of Bhutan who have graced this occasion and on the inaugural function. In the end, I would like to thank each and every one, including all stakeholders who have spared time to be part of this function. And thank you all. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, I take the honor of requesting the dignitaries and the audience to kindly stand up for the national anthem. Thank you. The chief guest and the dignitaries are requested to take their lunch in the adjacent area. Thanks to one and all. Jai Hind, Bharat Mata Ki Jai.